or certainly on their website, their latest headline from about an hour ago says Hugh Edwards named as BBC presenter in Sex Pictures Scandal by Wife in emotional statement, but it's headlined Beeb Crisis, and that's a theme that it's taken since day one of these allegations. Andy Barr is an expert in crisis management and CEO of 10 Yetis Digital and joins us now. Andy, hi to you. Welcome to 5 Live.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. Give us an insight into how an organisation as large as the BBC begins to address a problem like this.
Well, I think there's there's so many elements of this that you can try and unpick, but essentially the corporate side of the BBC has not fared very well, and I think that's the side that's that's had the most damage. Obviously, the news side is the most respected news organisation in the world, and I don't think it's had any credibility damage at all. I think the goings on of the last sort of 4 hours has just shown what an absolute sort of phenomenal communications beast the BBC is. They've turned this round, and now the Sun are on the ropes, and they've got a lot of questions to answer.
It's open to interpretation because there are plenty of people out there who certainly up to press feel the BBC haven't done a great job, and indeed have accused the BBC of protecting one of their own.
I'm not so sure, in terms of consumers and listeners, whether that's the case. I think that the corporate side of the BBC, yes, definitely has had a huge amount of errors in the way that they've handled it, but really, I think the news side of it has come out of it very well, and I think the escalation process needs reform in terms of the corporate side of the BBC and how they flag things up. It's crazy that such a big star could be caught in this kind of thing, and yet the Director General, we're told, didn't know until Thursday. It's things like that make you think, well, actually, there's a process wrong there, but did we not already know that the BBC is a juggernaut and at corporate level takes a long time to turn around?
Yeah, the Director General's Tim Davies admitted that, hasn't he? That work needs to be done on the flagging process. So let's just Andy, talk about this issue of public pressure as well when there's a crisis like this, because there's no doubt about it, the demand on social media to know the name of this person was huge and could have possibly been overwhelming. And Nazir Afzal, who was on the programme a little bit earlier talking to Claire, he's the former chief prosecutor for North West England. He referred back to the case of Nicola Bulley, the lady who sadly fell into the water and died. And a lot of people on social media were demanding answers and to know what had happened and why the police weren't moving more quickly. And one argument is the police put out a statement to try and respond to that. So public pressure via social media can possibly force a large organisation to take decisions in haste that it might regret?
I think there's no question. Social media is an absolute cesspit of trolls and people wishing ill will and trying to grow their own profile. I think the reality is that the BBC at corporate level again probably struggles to cope with trying to keep up with the fast pace of social media, but doesn't every organisation? If we look at the 24-hour rolling news media, that's a very difficult beast to feed, and I think social media is even worse than that, and that is the risk. And I think the media lawyer that you had on before me summed it up very well. Defamation cases are going to go through the roof now as a result of this, because Nicky Campbell's right to go to the police with what happened to him. And there's some wider context here. Everyone's quick to jump on Twitter, but TikTok is even worse. They were suggesting Hugh Edwards' name as a search term during some, on some of the videos before his name actually came out, which is just something that needs looking at. It needs this regulation that we've all been craving.
Just a final thought. We've talked about the Beeb crisis. What about the Sun itself? Because now that the Metropolitan Police, for those who've just joined us, who've said tonight that there's no criminal case to answer whatsoever for Hugh Edwards, where does that leave the Sun right now?
Oh, this is their news of the world moment. This is them on the ropes. They've got to react quickly. The statement that they've just issued around gonna not print any further allegations is the closest that they will come to a climb down before any legal action happens. But I think I think the Sun has got some really big questions to answer. And number one, they need to clear that front page that says Beeb in crisis. It's not Beeb in crisis, it's the Sun in crisis right now.
Andy, thank you. Good to talk to you. Andy Barr there, an expert in crisis management, CEO of 10 Yetis Digital. Still lots to come. It's a new tool. Still lots to come. It's a new tool. Still lots to come. It's a new tool. Still lots to